Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to Curling Stadium, Alberta Curling Series Major, presented by Co-op. We're streaming from the Curling Stadium Leduc inside the Leduc Curling Club. I am Steve Robert, and I am along with Rory McCusker. Hello, Rory. What's going on?
Hey, Steve. That was an awesome intro.
Thank you. It's all about the intro, and it might slide downhill from there. What kind of drink you got going right now?
Blackbridge Brewery out of Swift Currents, a cold pressed cream ale.
I've got a lovely mezcal going. It's a smoky, smooth mezcal, outstanding, and it's Saturday night.
Saturday night curling on TV.
We've got a C final here between Kayla Skrlik of Alberta and Corryn Brown of British Columbia. Loser goes home, winner qualifies. How much better can it get than that on a Saturday?
Yeah. Two younger teams. Corryn Brown, my first real kind of look at her was during the Moose Jaw Scotties in 2020. They held in there against some really good teams, and I forget the place. I'm not sure if they made playoffs or not, but they definitely turned some heads in Moose Jaw in 2020 there. Corryn Brown team.
And just to help us all out, both teams are wearing black.
Yeah.
It's outstanding.
Well, you got your corner guard setup going for Corryn Brown. I guess I should designate Hammer. There we go.
So Corryn Brown's got Hammer throwing red rocks, and Kayla Skrlik throwing yellow. Around the corner before she's able to get up there and peel.
Yeah, not like I've asked her how to say her name, but I've heard others kind of hover over the R there. Skrlik.
Yeah, did I just say Skrlik? I'm sorry. Skrlik.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
2018 Canadian Juniors contestant. I believe she was 7-3 at Canadian Juniors in 2018.
Oh.
And how's she been doing in the women's golf? I
see her here and there. I haven't been paying too much attention. I know they play a lot, so they're gonna find themselves in these make the playoff sort of situations more and more, I think.
Man, that's got to be the way to learn, is to qualify. Holy cow. Unfortunately, a little heavy on that draw, and it brings a little bit of trouble early with an opportunity to get two around that corner. For down, second floor, so very high. So what's going on in Regina? Is it still light out there?
Sun just went down. It's been an ugly week here. Weather really turns quick on the prairies here in September. Before you know it, there's no more warm weather, and it's that bitter fall cold. But it means curling season is upon us. So everyone's getting their club squads together, text messages, hey, who you curling with this year? How many days a week you want to curl? So it's exciting in that way.
So, Kayla Skrlik is going to try to limit the damage when there's straight back. Let's see how this run back goes. Okay, she got the one heel out of it.
Apologies, little camera difficulties there. The lag was
Yeah, a little bit of lag.
freaking me out.
Yeah, looks like we're back.
For those of you who don't know, I am also at the helm of the controls of these cameras. They run fine, but it takes me a little while to warm up.
It's a tough job, man. So I'm out here in Clarksburg, Ontario. Beautiful Clarksburg, just outside of Thornbury, which is just outside of Collingwood, 4 hours north of Toronto. So I know all you Western Canadian people are glad to have this Ontario content.
I certainly am. I never, by the time I was playing competitively and such, everyone was kind of playing the same. There was no like, oh, the Ontario guys play soft weight, and the Manitoba guys all tuck, and the Saskatchewan guys like that had actually kind of disappeared by the time I was playing. But I didn't really have much of the East versus West sort of rhetoric.
Okay. Nice corner guard. Managed to cover most of both of those stones again. We're going to make a play into the rings this time.
Yeah, still have that center guard for now. They're one miss away from Corryn Brown deciding to get rid of it. That's when things really look bleak first end here. I shouldn't say bleak. The control really, as a team without Hammer, once your center guard is down, it kind of feels like your chance to escape has sort of went away, and now you'll just be chasing whatever you decide to do. Oh, gets
Nice
two
shot.
rocks moving there.
Yeah. I was going to say, Corryn may feel like she really doesn't want to score 3 in the first end. She scored 3 in the first end last game, and that's the last time she scored.
Oh,
Qualifier.
That's a super stat.
3-goal lead, worst lead in hockey.
I thought it was 2. Solid control weight.
Yep.
I always find it interesting. I always find it interesting to see what teams, just what weight teams prefer to throw in the first end.
Mm-hmm.
With the extended practice and dragging the rocks and such, I mean the way that I was kind of raised the first end because it might find something fresh to grab onto. But that seems to be not so much the case anymore. First end starts, as long as both teams have kind of used their draw paths in practice, first end is quite broken down at this point. There's not as much keening up and that type of thing going on, it seems.
A little more predictable than it used to be, though.
Yeah, it used to be throwing leads rocks with no practice, or before the last stone drop was a total guess.
Mm-hmm.
This is obviously for the better. Both teams can just get right to it with some predictable draw paths and throwing the hit weight that they prefer.
So I believe this is Jerry Lynn Ramsey's second stone. And if I have that wrong, please bear with me. It's a little hard to see really clearly, count the rocks and sort of see where they're at along the throwing lineup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you. final third stone. Both teams content to chase each other around the rings with the single counting stone.
Working that hard, the outside sweepers working away, and they managed to remove that rock now. Corryn gets to go around the corner again. Over center. Well, yeah. I think I've the reverse teams again. Not liking the Black Jackets. Yellowstone coming up as Kayla Skrlik tries to draw around the center. Put a little early pressure on Corryn.
Using that center guard, after all.
Coming up to back 8 or back 4.
Couldn't quite get the specific spot with that, as the sweepers had to leave it the whole way. You're much better off using those sweepers, especially in the second half of the shot, to really shape the stone exactly where you want it to go. When you have to woe the whole way like that, you're just leaving it to the path the stone wants to take, and then that time overcurled a bit, poked out the other side, and went about a foot deep. Maybe 2 feet deep, depending on how picky you are.
I'm getting some feedback from the chat that maybe one of our mics is a little bit unclear, kind of unclear. So.
Thank you. Speak into the mic clearly. I wonder if they're talking about us or they're talking about the players. Player mics.
Probably yes. I don't think they'd be counting the players to do that.
I can see our broadcast levels. Hopefully they come through all right.
All right, we'll do our best.
Yep. Thanks for the feedback, guys.
Yep. Thank you, James.
Guys, girls.
Let me know if it's getting it. Let us know if it's getting any better. So as Corryn Brown rolled out,
yeah.
Kayla Skrlik has an opportunity again to go around the center. She's had a chance to do this once, her and the sweepers, and we might expect a little bit better result this time. Looking for.
I just checked the audio levels there. I think we were a little quiet, so thank you to James. Kind of rebalancing. It's always tough to know how much player audio to include, how much microphones, but hey, we're learning. Kayla Skrlik trying to make this one a little better. She's using her sweepers this time. Very strong
and
finish
they're
on
carving
that
it over, and they're going to hide most of that rock.
Now that's a great adjustment by Skip Kayla Skrlik. Her first one, pretty close, but didn't use her sweepers at all. Really changed the throw on the second one to make use of her front end there, and boy, did they make good on that opportunity.
And that thing is lost, so Corryn's going to try and make that out-turn draw to the side of the button.
Yeah, I had wondered about earlier in the end when they already had their corner guard, rock behind corner guard set up, whether they might take that center guard off. They chose to keep piling him in. Skrlik made a double and, was able to drag play back to the center of the ice. So it's one of those things. Not saying I'm right, but now that we've gotten to this point, you'd wonder if she wouldn't have a better shot than a draw to the side of the pin from the first end. armchair skipping already for me here.
I think they're
Sweepers
liking
like it. That's a beautiful team shot in the first end.
Well done. Yeah, that's a terrific team shot. Well said, Rory. So at the end of the first end, Corryn Brown is forced 1-0 over Kayla Skrlik. So Corryn Brown will have a hammer in the second end.
One. There.
Hey, I think I just said Corryn Brown will have hammer in the second after scoring in the first. I don't think it works that way. So this is lead Samantha Fisher's first stone. Did not see where it was called. I think it might have been called into the house. And it's going to be going nice top button shot.
Hey, Steve, what if hammer was like serve in volleyball and you had it till you lost it? Or like an at-bat at cricket where you just went
let's
until
do it. Let's start the Liz curling tour. New rules. And they can wear shorts.
Offense and defense.
Hey, James, thanks again for that feedback, James Mann on the chat. Can you hear both of us well? You said sound is now great. I'm assuming that's from both, so hopefully it's
excellent.
Okay.
Glad to hear it. I did make an adjustment, so maybe that affected things. Says you can hear one of us pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
Which one? But he said
I'll open the YouTube feed.
I'll open the YouTube feed on now. So.
All right, that's good.
Well, it looks like a pretty open end right at the moment. How are the riders doing? I think
not good. Not good at all.
This year, right? Yeah.
Thanks for asking, but very disappointing. Yeah, we host Grey Cup this year. Last time that happened was 2013. We had an amazing team, and they fought themselves into the final of one of the greatest sports experiences of my life, watching the Riders win a Grey Cup at home.
All right.
That's looking like a distant dream at this point. But that's okay. Winnipeg can have their fun.
Okay. James, again, thank you for your help on the chat. I'm Steve, so am I the one that's fading out, or is it Rory who is fading out occasionally?
I'm guessing it's me, but we'll hear from you. The thing is, if you can hear me, Steve, they should be able to hear me. That's
and you can hear, but you can hear me as well quite well. So we're just trying to figure out what's going south when the electrons get out beyond us. The one guy keeps fading out. The other is excellent. Okay.
I'll turn it on. I'll figure it out in a second here. But good thing these curlers are able to provide us with enough entertainment. We're the sideshow here.
So we have curling again. Corner guard put up by. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this corner guard put up. So we're moving on to a center guard. Steve is fading out. So Rory, Steve is fading out. That's me.
I know. I've got you perfect in my ear, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, and I didn't have a problem earlier today as well. So
That's okay.
I'm gonna try
I'll
another.
hop
I'm
on.
gonna unplug for a second and try another device. See if it helps.
Well, you're not so fast, Steve, because as far as I can hear and see it, you're perfect. I'm just gonna turn the stream on and see if I can notice anything.
Okay.
Well, you're not so fast, Steve, because as far as I can hear and see it.
Try and hold up. I'm gonna unplug for a second.
Steve, I got the YouTube stream perfect. I think,
Both of us.
yeah, I got both of us. I think James might be listening on a device where
Okay.
it just isn't coming through as good.
We will carry on.
We shall carry on. And I actually might mix in some camera control here. As long as I don't nauseate our audience, I'll try it out.
A really nice roll away from the center by, I'm going to say, Christy Moore. Not Christy Moore, certainly. Brittany Tam. Brittany Tam had some appearances in the 2020 Scott Tournament of Hearts with Beth Peterson. And a rollout, so it opens up the move around the corner.
It's like a little tick there.
I think I like that better than her going around that staggered corner. And we'll go around her own center guard. So what's your club, Rory?
Caledonian Curling Club in Regina.
All right. Who are the major players out of there right now?
You know what? Not a lot. The Highland Curling Club in Regina has definitely taken over the. It's the preferred club for the curlers out of Regina, such as Matt Dunstone, or
Right.
former team Matt Dunstone. I think Colton Flash is playing out of Saskatoon this year.
An excellent job on the center.
Yeah. And what about yourself, Stephen, in Ontario? There, where do you call your curling?
So for many years, I curled at the High Park Club. We have a pretty major World Curling Tour event. Nice run back.
Beautiful.
Didn't quite get it out. We have a really, when I say we, I haven't been there in a couple of years now between COVID and moving up here. So around us up here, right up here, we have the Meaford Curling Club, Collingwood Curling Club, Stainer, Markdale. Those are all within about a half an hour of where I am. So there's 4 clubs close by. And Owen Sound, a little further, Owen Sound has curling as well. And of course, Barrie. But an exciting event at the High Park Club coming up is Stu Sell's Toronto Tanker. And
Oh,
we're looking
yes.
forward to that. Both of my girls' teams are competing in that against the likes of Jennifer Jones and Silvana Taranzoni. And my band is going to be playing the Saturday night party. So lots of
Hey,
family involvement there.
the Stew Cells series, when I followed curling with Jerry, working for the site and the tour rankings and all that stuff, the Stew Cells events are just something special.
Yeah. And it started out at the High Park Club. I just got a number of other ones now, including juniors, who are great over in the sport. Sponsors a lot of teams. Couldn't
Now,
quite
folks,
get that one to dive under.
No, yeah, they ran it pretty close to the guard as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, folks, you may have noticed the camera has not switched in a few shots here, and that's because I may have broken the camera. No, I'm definitely doing something to it, aren't I?
Zoom is happening.
I thought I broke the other one, so just getting us back in gear there. Let's see if we can't get a shot of this coming down the ice here.
I think Corryn Brown is looking for a little flip under in order to get a force or better.
Really quite a bit of movement on here. And they pop out the other side.
Pop out the other side, leaves a... Oh, still on.
Yeah, Skrlik will get her wish here.
Mm-hmm.
From the moment that Corryn Brownstone rolled into the back 12-foot, you got to think Kayla Skrlik was thinking, I'm gonna build something over here, some backing, two guards to kind of draw play to that right side.
Mm-hmm.
It took her till now to have a shot to make it happen, but the plan can come to fruition right here. Maybe force Team Brown to a difficult inside-out kind of draw across the center line.
Right. That's fun in the second half. Fun anytime. Drawing off the center line.
I did not break the camera, Steven.
Okay, there you go.
Very good news. Right away. This will be tight by the guard.
Nope. And coming.
Just get her by. And all of a sudden, the potential skipper's deuce.
Yeah, she's got some choices here, right? I mean, I think, yeah, probably. I think you could also go, would you also consider, no, you can't really go side 4-foot here, right? I guess that is that card. Tight enough that it's not very likely to be able to curl around it and tap, but long enough to not leave a double. A run back double.
Yeah, so the obvious thinking here is you'll want to plug the middle, but what's the secondary goal here? If you've put it top 12 and Team Skrlik decides to hit it, you may be in a position where if they miss the double, you'll still count 2.
Mm-hmm.
However, the deeper you go, the more likely you leave some type of out, whether it's a hit and roll to give up 1 or the draw path stays open.
Yep.
I think I'd be coming top 12.
I think Corryn can put some pretty good pressure. Top 12 center line.
Some more big movement out of her in turn.
Mm-hmm. Is that going to overcurl or is that going to stop for them?
I think that looking like shot made.
And no easy draws out there right now.
Exactly. The other advantage to coming deeper, I suppose, is you make that the angles with the corner guards favorable to take away a draw path. If that made any sense.
Yes, it does. Love it. Love it, Rory. I love that. Now, is Joan working the Fredericton event?
So Joan coaches Team Scheidegger at this event here.
Okay.
So she's in Leduc. She's been doing some games for us.
The Fredericton event next weekend. She does the.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. She does the Curling Canada ones, right?
No.
Sportsnet?
She's with Sportsnet, yeah. The
Oh,
Grand
sorry,
Slams.
yes. Yeah, Grand Slams.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
next
Plenty
weekend
of curling.
Fredericton is a Curling Canada event next weekend in Fredericton.
No, her passions bring her to Alberta, coaching Team Scheidegger. My youngest sister plays basketball at U of A Golden Pandas. So lots of work in Edmonton for Joan. So she is over there all winter long. But big shot here, trying to get through the hole.
I think they have done it. What a great throw.
That's great weight to control the line there. Very impressive.
Good shot, Kayla Skrlik, to bring us into the third end, tied at 1, where Corryn Brown will have hammer.
And you mean it this time.
I mean it. We'll be right. We're streaming live from Curling Stadium Leduc inside the Leduc Curling Club in beautiful Leduc, Alberta. Seaside qualifier. Loser goes home. Winner qualifies. First rock being thrown by Ashton Skirk. Looking for a tight center, looks like. Skrlik. Ashton Skrlik.
I'm just assuming. I do not know how they say their name. I'm just assuming. But that's all we have. So we're going with it. Gloves off game so far. Neither team really playing anything too cautiously. Both teams tolerating guard setups of their opponents.
Yeah, I was wondering if there might be a corner on that one, but being an odd end, maybe a little bit less likely.
Using this really strong curl on the intern side.
Great shot.
That is quite a few we've seen down that path that really bends at the end if the weight's right. Just a little too strong. You can see the line would have been perfect.
And I hope the Leduc Curling Club is full of curling fans and beer drinkers this evening. Support your club when they're putting on an event like this. Not just the club members, but people from all around Leduc and surrounding areas, curling fans, non-curling fans. Get out there.
Absolutely. Yep. It makes a huge difference when that club can get that money directly. Makes the sponsors feel like they've made a good decision as well, hanging their banner in the club when they can see a full house like that. Just everyone wins.
So key. How's the youth curling participation? How are the youth curling participation levels in Saskatchewan these days?
I would say similar to the rest of the country where you have kids coming out, but the what I hear is at the competitive junior level it's never been better. But I think recreational once a week for fun curling is somewhat suffering almost everywhere
Mm-hmm.
for a variety of reasons. I mean, so I would say average. I would say average. I see quite a bit of kids, and it's still part of the they all come out in grade 8. It's part of their grade 8 gym class where they spend a couple days curling. I know the high schoolers do a similar thing.
Well, I sure wish that we would do that in Ontario like they used to, because the numbers are going down here, and there's not a lot of, not as much school curling as there used to be. There's certainly some.
No, and I talk to a lot of curlers. I'm 30 years old. Talk to a lot of them my age, and quite a few say, "Yeah, I just went in grade 8 and liked it, and just started playing then and never stopped." So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it just takes that little bit of exposure, and a lot of kids, football and hockey and stuff, it's not for them, and they sometimes don't know that athletics can offer some more balanced, precision-oriented sports like this in the winter. So
Right.
sometimes you just need a little bit of exposure, and boom. Now my buddy Eric, his whole family played hockey. He knew that was never for him. He thought he just wouldn't play sports. Discovered curling, loves it. Anyone who gets involved in curling knows this. When you make friends in curling, those are friends for life. You'll know those people. Every time you see them, you'll have common ground. You'll have common stories together. It's yeah, can't say enough about just how well curling can enrich your life socially as well.
And you
Growing
could
up,
play it for a long time.
every professional in my family would see my doctor, dentist, accountant, real estate guy. Anybody that was a curler that knew my parents through the club somehow. So the networking you can do as well as a professional
Right.
is extremely good. Guards are clear. That was a good chance to remove red stones from the rings and build a sort of force end.
Didn't quite do it.
Both options are still, or sorry, both outcomes are still available for either team. The open force and the open deuce or more.
Right. So Corryn is going to try and take care of that yellow that's in a dangerous spot and roll away and hopefully keep her rocks level. Roll this rock over to the side 12 foot, somewhere along the same height as the top 4 rocks. And it was hard to get more separation than that. I mean, that's really a good shot, as well as you can do.
Yeah, the real strategical plans are in guards and freezes and taps and such, but ends like this is it's good practice for tactics, understanding what you can make out of out of what appears to be nothing. Just these little hit and roll jockey ends. You know, it's as productive as anything.
Yeah, and I
No
like
mistake.
Kayla's call here, but even if they nose this rock, they're working up the house a little bit to allow for the double.
Got some weight on this one. Just pushed it a little bit. A lot of rotation and a little bit outside. Sometimes a combination you just don't come back from. So that one wanted to hang out there.
So this is a good spot if they can nose this rock. Double's awfully thin. I don't think it may not even be there. They would have to resort to hitting the top rock probably and rolling in front of the one they're throwing right now. Very nice.
Yeah. So for those just learning how to skip or trying to build that kind of part of their game, the basic goal here with hammer is to avoid leaving a double. You know your opponent would love to get out of trouble with one shot here. Just keep those rocks separated, eliminating sort of 45-degree angles, those half rock doubles, making your opponent make the hard shot. Odds are eventually if you trade shots back and forth, if you're making the open hits and they're making the tricky hit and rolls, they're going to miss before you. So here, trying to get aggressive with the
may
roll.
get they made the thin double. I don't think that was in the plan. When you make a double that thin, you risk making no noise at all. So I don't think that was the plan. The plan was to roll in front, and it worked out well for them.
Yep, that was one where if this was a tennis game, the one player would sheepishly offer their apologies for the ball rolling over the net.
Drop shot off the tape.
Yes.
That was we got a new name for that shot, rolling that thin double. Unintended. That's a drop shot off the tape.
I like it. It's terrible. So it being an odd end here, the general philosophy is you want to score your big ones in the even ends. So a blank is feeling pretty good to Team Corryn Brown. The prospect of a blank, I should say.
Well, it was an eventful end, ending up pretty open, but it was yeah, like you pointed out, Rory. It's often we're talking about playing around guards. In this case, it's really difficult to stay out of a double when you're splitting the house that early in the end.
Absolutely, just more opportunities. Appears I've lost camera control once again. That's all right. We'll follow it from the far end.
Is this last rock, Roy? I think it is.
No, this will be
Corryn's first? Okay.
Yeah. This is where I've last left my camera, so this is the close-up we get.
Good nose hit. Kayla Skrlik will try to return the favor. I think their number one objective will be to make noise and make it go away. Their second objective may be to roll to, probably nose is best, I think. Unless they thought there was a tricky spot on that intern side, they are probably better off to make the rollout as long as possible.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of don't do too much of the hard work here. Your opponent's going to have an open look no matter what. Just make them throw the rock. It's still common enough, even at these high levels of play, to watch a skip nose a blank attempt or flash altogether. So they'll try to hold on here. Nope, it'll be an easy look at a certain spot that Corryn will just get to throw this wherever she wants.
We really appreciate Megan and James and Deborah and the other people on the chat coming in and commenting. It's Saturday night. You can spice it up if you want.
Absolutely. This is an interactive broadcast.
Kiddies are in bed. At the end of the third end, we've got a 1-1 tie in the Seaside qualifier. We'll be right back.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium. Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
One.
We're back at Curling Stadium, Leduc. We've got a good one going. It's a tight battle. It's kind of a pitcher's battle. We appreciate all our sponsors, and this is the Curling Stadium Alberta Curling Series Major presented by those fabulous co-op stores. Fourth end, Corryn Brown with hammer. Tie. Somebody's looking for a deuce.
It's been a pretty evenly matched game. Not many misses in a row to let one team really take control of any particular end.
Corryn Brown wants no part of those yellow stones at top 12. And it's not that easy of a double, I would say. Gotta
To
hit
clear
that.
them both, definitely not.
Yeah. I think she's choosing to hit the top one very, very thin.
Well, nice big delivery.
Yeah,
That has got the
quarter
rotation
rock
to
would
kick
do
us
it.
in. All right, so with free guard zone rocks wasted, not wasted. That's a harsh way for me to put it. Not being
No, it's,
utilized.
and you know what, Rory? It's spicy Saturday night. I think you could say it. I'm with you. I'll support you.
The sensor board. Jerry is busy. The sensor board is off duty.
Got a little lag again. That's a pretty good result. So I think the Jays won again today.
Excellent.
I saw Barrios' line, I think, was like 6 hits and 3 walks over 6 innings or something like that. So he must have scattered them pretty good.
Yeah. I've got 5 friends in Toronto for a concert / kind of just getaway weekend. They were treated to a big Jays victory yesterday as well.
Right. Sorry, what kind of weekend did you say it was?
They went for a concert, but are there for 4.5 days just
Okay,
living it up.
Where was the concert they were seeing?
A rock concert, Swedish rock band called Ghost.
Okay. So a Swedish metal band or something, or
Yeah, I mean,
I'd have to look them up.
songs are in English. It's confusing, but they're just a rock band, not that Swedish death metal. That's
No, it's
somewhat
Norwegian death metal. Yeah, nice.
Yes. Hey, spicy Saturday. You never know what's gonna happen.
They may put some Gorgoroth in the credits on the way out or something.
Well, opportunity here. She'll have to send that top rock all the way across the house, so you'll have to hit this with a good amount of weight. Looks pretty close. Bam, bam.
Well done.
Corryn Brown saying, "Hey, we'll blank the game out and score 1 and 8 if that's what we have to do."
Whoa.
The Scottish curling strategy. No you. Totally satisfied with a blank.
Pat Ryan.
Make your opponents do the weird stuff and take the risks and try to force something to happen. played with people where the little pre-end meeting, we want to blank here. Let's see what we can do to keep things clear and try to blank this out. But some skips I've played for, it's a kind of more of a see what happens sort of thing. You don't necessarily need to have planned this exactly, but once the opportunity presents itself, if you don't have anything cooking up that you're very confident in, think you might get forced, hey, why not? Take the blank as it's given to you. You don't, in a tie game situation, you don't really need to push the issue with hammer if you don't want to.
Sure. At some point, if this goes on this way, then Skrlik's going to have to put up a double center or something. A little early yet for that, but
Yeah, make the however she wants to do it. Make the decision that we're gonna force something to happen here. Either we're scoring or you're scoring, but.
second stone for Aaron Pincott. And they're trying to just roll away a little bit. Change the path. Nice throw. Nice control weight on these. It's important to stick and not give your opponent draw practice. So when you say the weather's turning and it hasn't been a great week, what kind of temperatures did you get this week out on the prairies?
Daily highs of about 14 Celsius.
Mm-hmm.
We had a nice calm one today. I was able to take in my newest obsession, which is disc golf. For those
Oh
of you
yeah,
who have
nice.
not, there's a bit of curling elements in that disc golf. You got to choose the disc. Some of them have more turn than others. They'll kind of glide left and right.
Yeah, I've
Some
seen
weird
guys carry
combination.
like a backpack with several discs
Well,
in it, right?
absolutely, yeah. Well, that's the only thing to spend money on in that sport because most of the courses are free, which is quite excellent.
Good exercise. Well done.
It's good, yeah, good to get outside,
Competitive,
free
yeah.
free sport.
Competitive, meet some new people.
Yep, I was in a tournament in Melville, Saskatchewan today. Didn't place that well, but my girlfriend, it was her first tournament. She won her division. Only four girls in the division, but still very happy for her.
So Melville, who is from Melville? Was that
Mhm.
Terry Poole?
I'm not. You know what? I'm not the. I
Oh, no.
don't really know.
Gary Gates might know the answer. Google probably knows the answer to that as well. Terry Poole, Houston Astros. I think at one point he had the highest record for
You know what? It is.
defensive record.
If it's spelled Puhl, that's the park was named after him that I was playing in today. Yes, it is.
Okay, that's it then. Yeah, Melville.
Wonderful. Yeah, the Melville Millionaires, local team. They got a nice little ball area. And that's hardball is very popular in rural Saskatchewan.
Is there a lot of fast pitch softball?
Yes, there is. Yeah.
Good. That's a game that I played for many years. I played baseball when I was younger, but then I played quite a lot of fastball later in and around Toronto.
Yeah, very good Jays support out here as well. Kind of like me, bandwagon fans. We may not know every player's name, but we know when the game is on and we know to cheer. This appears to be next in a series of mini hit and sticks. Looks like there's still enough rings to just hit this on the nose and stay in the rings.
Yep. She'll have to peel it out. So we've got a report from Keith. The other C final, or sorry, the other game is Ha is ahead of Jesse Hunkin 3-0.
And our game is a full end ahead of them. Which, with 2 blanks in a row?
Yeah.
That makes sense. But no, those international teams, their big goal is the World Championships and the Olympics and representing their country. So this is just really high quality practice for them, and they do take their time.
Another blank, 1-1 after 4 ends, and we'll be back. Thanks everyone for being here. We're back at Curling Stadium Leduc in the Leduc Curling Club. And it's looking like a good tight center guard from Ashton Skrlik. Pretty important for them at this stage of the game. I don't think they're going to go too hard for the steal in the 5th end. What do you think, Rory? They'll go conservatively toward the steal or the force, as opposed to really going hard for the steal at this point.
Yeah, it depends what they're seeing out there. If they want hammer in the 6th end, they'll have to force Team Brown to a point here.
Yeah, the force would be really good in the 5th and take the hammer into 6. It's a good shot.
Yep. If I was doing stats on this game, that's 2 5s in a row here.
So has everything changed over now to 5?
I'm not too sure. It's been a few years actually since I've done the stats, and I know the systems are non-compatible. The Grand Slam of curling versus Europeans versus TSN shows and such. But I know that a degree of difficulty factor has been added to most stats keeping, whereas it was only part of the one. That's why you'd see sometimes rounder numbers where there's only multiples of 50%, 25%, 75%, 100%, and I guess, of course, 0. But no, yeah, there's, and that's the way it should be. I mean, the days of reading those numbers and seeing leads at 96 and 92%, it's not telling you much. I would like to see a little a scale or like a bar indicator alongside the stat to show how difficult of a game that player has had. Especially in the men's game, you have teams that play a lot of runbacks with 2nd and 3rd stones, and you have teams that play a lot of come arounds and taps, second and third stone. So those players like Derek Samagalski is a good example. He's asked to perform some incredibly difficult shots every single game. And so when you see a guy like that in the 50s percentage-wise, does that mean he's having a bad game? Well, no. It means on his triple runbacks, he may be only getting 2 of the rocks every now and then, right? So that degree of difficulty is so important to represent. Putting her hand up above her shoulder, indicating this will be some big weight coming down the ice.
He's got to clip the outside of that one rock and to get them both. So it's kind of a short slash, you might say. It's looking pretty good. Oh, maybe, yep, very nice. That's spinning out.
Yeah.
I think Corryn's gonna. He's gonna peel it. Well, what are we on the way to?
It could be another blank here. We're looking at Steven. Spicy Saturday. Been pretty bland last few events.
Yes. Keith Keller. Apparently it's 5-0 now for Ha after 3 ends. So Jesse Hunt can have a tough time with it. And Keith is asking how the playoffs work. Thanks for the question, Keith. This is both of these games are C-qualifiers. So once you qualify out of either A, B, or C, 8 teams will qualify for the playoffs, and it's just a straight quarterfinal, semifinal, final. So no matter how you qualify, you're back on even footing with the other qualifiers. If you go to Curling Zone and have a look at the playoff draw, the brackets, and you scroll around among the A event, or the A side, the B side, and the C side, you'll eventually see how that kind of works out.
Little split screen view for everyone here. Like the camera control is not working so good, so I'll just try to see how much information I can give you viewers here.
That looks pretty good to me.
Curling is a team sport with every player contributing to each shot, whether it's reporting information, giving commands, sometimes just feeling your own throw and reporting that back to the skip. The teams that communicate are teams that win.
And that's why, Rory, you and I are trying to communicate so well. We're having a crack at it for our first time working together.
Agreed. It's like years of chemistry, but it's our first time together.
Okay, we may have some curling here. They're ignoring the corner. Well, it's logical. Go back to the center, and then Corryn will have some choices to make. I suspect she will go up and peel that center again. But maybe there's an interesting way she can bump that red in at the same time. I don't know.
Now, while I was admiring my split screen composition here, that Grim Brown's stone, was that an intended corner guard or was that intended for the wing?
I have to look at that one again, whether that was a semi. No, oh, you know what it was? Sorry.
Hit and roll on the side.
Kayla elected to play a guard off the center line, which is probably maybe logical off of those peels. So it's kind of a center guard, just about a foot off the center line, and then it was just sort of semi-nosed and just rolled a little further over.
Gotcha.
So we have a little bit of curling as a result.
Yes. That's a not played as often as I would think, is that converting a center guard to a corner guard. Just playing that hit and roll on the guard, just like you would on a rock in the rings. Intentionally creating a corner guard out of a center guard.
I agree with you so much, and sometimes it makes me a little crazy. I mean, it's hard to call that shot, especially for juniors, which is who I've done most of my work with. It's hard to call that shot, not risk nosing the center. But once you know you have it just off center, I can't tell you the number of times I've seen them um, hurry to sweep that shooter off of the rings instead of out of play rather than leaving it for a corner. It's like, wow, you kind of have a corner now if you want it. And then, but the thinking is just it's a peel. I better get it out of here.
Sure, sure. And there's sound logic behind that. It just depends what opportunity you see in certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
Yeah,
want to get
that.
too caught up.
Yep.
Don't want to get too caught up thinking, oh, my end is over. I haven't got my corner guards up with my lead stones. There's no room for me to be aggressive here. Well, it's not that creative of an idea to just play a hit and roll on a center guard. But as you said, the ramifications of a miss or a nosed hit
Yeah.
or definitely ways to hurt yourself there. So it looks like Team Skrlik sees a force
Yeah, they're
in
looking
this
at this
scenario.
force opportunity.
You can see in the split screen view, the opposing team sweepers getting a good look at this one, knowing that they will very likely have to follow it down.
Might be a little light.
Just a touch soft.
She's not going to mess around with that rock. Clearing that path for the shooter that will run off the rim. Out of play, I should say.
Yeah. Would one ever attempt a soft weight hit and roll into the open rings on the other side? Look at the rings here.
Are you referring to like when you say a soft way hit and roll? So you're not talking about the tap back on the intern side?
That's an indication that Fisher has just made with her brim. Just a slightly sharp roll, I should call it. Maybe not necessarily soft weight, but hitting that yellow guard quite thin and rolling your shooter into the rings.
Right.
Could force Team Skrlik to deal with that stone.
So Corryn has decided to maybe go on offense here. With an out turn draw.
Indeed, yeah. You gotta think it's not that far of a run back for Team Skrlik if they do end up burying this. But at this point, she likes this idea better than attempting a double peel to attempt to keep the blank alive. That would be quite a thin, hard double peel. So, hey, if we're in it, we may as well try to go for 3 if we're going for 2. Let's start right now, get one in there.
They're working it hard. I wonder if it's tightening up out there at all. About 3 feet light, 3 or 4 feet light on that, I think.
Yeah, not sure how the pebble's holding up, but we did have those blank ends were more or less hits down the middle, especially that fourth end blank was just rock after rock down that center line path. But it being the fifth end, you would think the whole thing would holding up quite well.
We had some challenging ice conditions in Whitby, Ontario last week. I was coaching at a women's event, Team Brianna Roson, and there was some warm weather, and the Whitby Curling Club ice plant was not keeping up, and it was kind of on the verge of losing the event. And they stuck with it, got some cooler weather on the Sunday, and it turned out really well. But the Saturday was rough. I mean, there's a lot of it was greasy, and there was some players falling down. Footing was
Oh,
really,
geez.
really tough. Yeah. Yeah, I don't
Corryn
know.
Brown will try to
Yep.
pass again. Well,
Corinne Brown's first rock in the fifth end.
her stones have really been curling on the in-turn side. Let's see if they can get some of that similar finish on the out-turn side. Sweepers have been on it in some capacity the whole way down.
Really
There's
starting
that
to come
movement.
now. Yeah, you could just see it. Yeah. Pretty similar result.
Yeah. So that would support the theory that there's a little bit of ice change. Now, of course, they could have missed 2 light in a row, but the more you see missed down the same path the same way, you got to think. These teams have been paying attention the whole game to the times, the paths, the releases, the amount of rotation. They will know after a few shots, a few misses, if something is changing. And that's what, as you're kind of gaining your competitive momentum as a team or even as a player, that's what sets the winners apart, is the teams that learn throughout the game, the day, the weekend, the tournament, the season. The teams that learn about the ice and themselves continually end up on top in those 6th, 7th, 8th ends. This looks much better.
This is close to the yellow, but I think it's going to be okay.
And will they force a throw? Nothing in the rings.
Nothing in the rings. All right, Corinne Brown's going to have a look at another path, and this pitcher's battle continues.
And while you didn't give up a multiple score end, you got to think it's a bit of a defeat for Skrlik's team. They had the junk they needed. They made the decision to come around that corner guard and say, "Hey, we're going to try to force here," but they just never could quite get that initiative.
At the end of 5 ends, Corinne Brown and Kayla Skrlik are tied at 1. When we return, Corinne Brown will have hammer, and I think Kayla Skrlik's going to go a little harder for the steal. We'll be back.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
I am Steve Robert. I'm along with Rory McCusker, and we're coming to you from Curling Stadium Leduc inside the Leduc Curling Club. And we've got a battle for survival here. C bracket, loser goes home, winner qualifies. All on the line. Sixth end. Well, it looks like Ashton Skrlik was deep and into the rings. I would have thought a center guard was called. So now we're back to some hits.
I'd say even more surprising, this call to chase out in the 12-foot.
You'd go back to a center guard here, you think, Rory?
That's what, well, I would be, in my mind, I would know that I'm going for a steal here.
I think so too. Go back to a center guard, ignore that thing, yeah. Because otherwise she's taking the hammer to 7. Good chance.
And no matter where you're going to leave your shooter there after removing Corryn Brownstone, it's not going to be something worth protecting. In fact, it's in all likelihood, it may end up being a tool for Corryn Brown to use in order to score multiple points.
Right.
Now, you're going to think this is coming right into the rings. Saying to Skrlik's team, okay, we'll play this kind of tit-for-tat hitting game.
Oh, yeah.
Corryn Brown has had the hammer since the 3rd end. There's no reason to give it up now. Unless you think you're going to cook something up that's going to put you in a really good position to win the game. Now, they were somewhat off and on that rock.
Right. So suggesting that, yeah.
Maybe they were throwing a tight corner.
So she may be going hard for her deuce now. And what's going on here? Center guard. Okay, we've got some curling again.
Yes, we do.
And on the other C final, it seems as though Jesse Hunkin has a draw for 4, I believe.
Goodness
to
me.
make that a game.
Yeah, folks, unlike your TV set, you can have multiple games going at the same time here. So if you feel like peeping in to that other game, you just right-click Curling Zone on your YouTube platform here, or open a new tab if you're on mobile, and you get that game going side by side. Click and drag it to the right side of your screen if you're on a computer. Open multi-window if you're on a tablet device. If you're watching on a smart TV, I don't think that there is a way to do that. But the whole point here is the world is your oyster. As much curling as you want to watch, you get to watch Curling Stadium live.
Jessie Hunkin turned out to be light on her draw for the 4th point, with backing, I should say, as well. After
Yeah,
being down
I'm watching it
5-1.
live. It was a wide open house. All she had to do was hit paint.
Yeah.
I say it like it's easy. I can't do that either. But
There's one around the corner, just biting. Second shot. So
Skrlik indicating hack. Wait.
I'm going to chase this and roll over for a second yellow in the rings. And if that is achieved, I think Corryn Brown is going to be going after the double and put the blank back in play. I don't think she'll go around the corner again with 2 yellows.
This has got a lot of moving to do.
It does.
And they will poke that stone. Unfortunately, that may be even better for Team Corryn Brown than it was before.
Yes.
You've now got the rock poking out on the side that isn't going to be very relevant if you're going to go in and hit it. And Corryn Brown will stack that setup. Easily the best, most open multi-score setup she's had since she started blanking ends in the 3rd.
And by going around this corner as opposed to, I gotta keep track. I guess it's a little early in the end to hit and split the rings. But nonetheless, going around this corner could put 3 in play, but this is all over the guard. So this ends up being a double corner. It could end up in a good spot, but I don't think that was the intended play. Oh, yes. It's often dangerous to go around your opponent's corners, but I think I like it. Probably do not want to be deep. You want to be worse called it. You don't want to be light either.
There's really only one acceptable place for this stone, and that is right top 8 foot, maybe top 4 foot depth. Yeah, this is the precision level has been raised for Team Skrlik. Whenever you're playing without a center guard, you have to be nearly perfect as the team without hammer. This looks to have a lot of steam. No, settling nice.
Good shot.
Not too sure why they weren't finishing that a little harder.
Yeah.
But there's certainly no inside angle here. When Brown deals with this stone, their shooter will be left in the open. So that's a good little trade there, a 3-rock trade. If you can't make the shot perfect, at least dictate where your opponent will be rolling to, knowing that you will then have a chance at kind of completing your goal. In this case, getting a stone around that corner guard to shrink the scoring area, hopefully force Team Corryn Brown. They kind of got caught in between there. They thought it was all over the guard, but by the time it got there, they may have thought that they could have saved it. Bit of a tweener on the sweep call.
Yeah, they may be trying to turn this force into a little bit more pressure than just a force.
Yeah, it's almost I understand why Skrlik's going to take a minute here and just think about what's best. You've kind of gotten 2 misses in a row out of your opponent. Somewhat unexpected. there is no steal set up right now. The idea here is still force. Through a series of made shots, of course, you can make that drop path quite difficult and leave Corryn Brown with a difficult shot against multiple. I'd personally be tempted to put a guard sort of halfway between the center line and the corner guard setup. Just shrink that play zone, that scoring area a little bit more. Get the side of the 4-foot sort of as the new kind of target area instead of the outside of the 8-foot, which is, of course, more advantageous for the team with hammer when you're playing out to the wings like that. Looking at a couple things here, it looks like they're considering a tap on either of their rock. They keep signaling to this open one. I'm not too sure what they're seeing there.
I kind of like that tap better than the guard that you're talking about over near the corners, because I think you can get into a lot of trouble once the brown ring wraps around that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Don't like coming in and leaving Team Corryn Brown an angle on getting rid of multiple of your stones or letting theirs.
Yeah.
Any type of shot, leave them a chance to use that corner guard setup. Team Corryn Brown right now, after 2 straight losses, would be over the moon to have a shot where they could use that corner guard setup. I think it's up to Skrlik here to wrestle control back into the middle of the rings, establish a unremovable presence in the ring, so Team Corryn Brown kind of abandons the idea of scoring that buried red rock using that corner guard setup, and so that's just what they're discussing. What's the best way here for us to solidify this position we've created for ourselves, where we're relying to there is no double.
And I think I like.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think I like, playing over to the one that's by itself, one way or another, either coming around it or tapping it, just to put the play over there away from those corners.
And we'll listen to you.
Is that so? Are they playing the come around sort of T-line back button sort of weight?
Yeah, they were using some broom taps to describe a bit of a tap weight shot here.
Okay.
They could be coming right around. We can't hear them exactly.
Yeah, do you get, are you getting player audio at all?
I'm sending it out to the stream, so the viewers are getting on ice audio.
Otherwise, it's hard for you to hear it. And
yeah, I choose to hear you, Steven. This looks like a come around. Really slowing up here, and you know what? Just like you had mentioned, Steven, and that center line path definitely
it may be shot.
Grabbing rock. That's quite a few draws in a row we've seen where either team has tried to cross the center line, and really the stone just grinds to a halt. Overall, that's a controlling position to be in. That is a beneficial rock.
They've taken play away from the corners. You know, if they make this hit and roll really good, then this, like you said, it's a control rock. It's a short run back, even if red makes this really good.
Yeah, and the dream of counting that third shot rock right now, that red that's behind the corners, the dream is still alive. It's one mistake or one double opportunity, and you can still count that one. So keeping that hope alive, managing this hit and roll.
See where that stops.
Just barely under roll.
Well, I think they're going to roll under now. Going to attempt to roll under and lie 2-3.
Yeah, getting a
sorry,
skip stones down.
1-3, I should say. 1-3 or 2-3. Yeah. With that broom, it looks like they're throwing a bit of weight. I'm maybe a bit surprised because it could be a little finer line to get the roll that's needed.
Oh, of course. You only need to throw enough weight to remove the stone. That's the minimum weight you have to throw. So anything above that just makes it just makes the roll a little more delicate, right?
Sure.
Now she's tossed this right out. Got the outside sweeper trying to save it. See if they can hang around
To
for
curl a
shot 1
bit,
and 2. And it will. First and second shot. The initiative belongs to Corryn Brown now, though. The entire 8-foot open to manufacture skipper's deuce here.
Yeah, choosing not to draw around the corners, looks like.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm surprised by this, but I don't see how this yellow rock is a threat to Team Corryn Brown.
Right, yeah.
You would think your best shot at scoring 2 is just drawing top 4 and seeing what type of run back your opponent will attempt.
She cannot get to the inside of this without considerable risk.
Another option, like you had mentioned, is draw around your corner guards. Just ignore it. Just lie your point around your corners.
Yeah, see what they do.
Yeah, and if Skrlik makes a good freeze, then you have the button to draw 2 at least. I wonder if they still have some hope or dream of counting that top red one, even though that'd be quite a feat to get to that outside yellow and stick.
We've got the
Well, I've just cracked my second beer of the night, Stephen. This one's a draw weight stout out of Calgary, Alberta.
okay, good.
Curling beer for a curling Saturday night.
A few options here. One of them might be interim draw. Is this a tap?
I guess, yeah.
You can leave this yellow in a really bad spot. If you're tapping up this yellow, you can leave it in a pretty bad spot to allow a double on the yellows and make that earlier red that you've been talking about count.
Nice control weight here. Good bumper weight even. Makes you wonder why she didn't throw that on her first one if she was comfortable throwing that weight, but
Good job.
maybe they were seeing a curly spot in the path and they decided that removing the red was more important than anything on Skrlik's first.
So for the first in about 5, we're going to have a score. As Corryn Brown is throwing against, I'm not sure if she's throwing against 1 or 2 Yellowstones.
My guess is against 1, but
Mine too.
That must mean there was no hit on that outside yellow, or else they'd be making it for 2. Sweepers are on it right away. Definitely brooms down the whole way here, and oh no, they've given up on it.
Well, they're going to take a look. There's one yellow so far. Steal of one yellow, and they're looking at a second.
Looks like they will put a stick to these.
I certainly can't tell. If they can't tell from there, then we really would be guessing.
Yeah, I do like that they right away decided, oh, it's too close to call. We're gonna go get the stick. Sometimes when they're hovering over it for more than 10 or 15 seconds, you think to yourself, well, you obviously can't tell. So, time to get the measuring stick, and that's what they'll do.
Again, it looks like a really challenging pass down the center.
Indeed.
Curling Stadium, Leduc, and we've got a measure. Corryn Brown versus Kayla Skrlik. C final, loser goes home. Kayla Skrlik has already stolen 1 point this end, and they're measuring for the second.
That was a quick point. Was that a point to the red?
I don't know. I couldn't tell for sure.
I think
it
pointed
was.
to red.
I think it was, and I think it's 2-1 then. But we will find out shortly. I guess you're the one doing the scoring, and you got to wait for the scoreboard. You have to wait for the scoreboard.
I'm going to give it a 65% confidence.
Okay.
Or I should say, Skrlik's doing at least one. We'll find out when we come back.
We'll be back in a moment. Hello, we're back.
No, it's us first.
Kayla Skrlik has just stolen a point in the sixth end. I believe we're playing 7 now, with Corryn Brown having hammer.
We believe it was only 1 point. They haven't quite hung the score yet, but And our friend Keith in the chat pointing out the precarious situation. You do not want to get forced to 1 point in the 7th end going into that last end without hammer. But with a center guard to start things off, Kayla Skrlik's team is saying we're not giving anything up easy.
Yes, and the slightly deep draw to back 4 is it was not part of the plan for the Brown rink either.
Certainly not with a made shot here. And this is where people, some would say slipping behind the tee line is a disaster. It's a 0. You've helped your opponent. Well, the opponent still has to make their shot. But if done, yep, that red stone in the back of the button will only serve as a catcher or a guarantee that play will remain in the middle of the ice, which of course is advantageous for the team without hammer. Sweepers working on this to make it as good as they possibly can. And that's a wonderfully made shot.
I almost think that I'm not sure they had to be shot there. Like, I don't know. Would top 4 have been better than that?
It would be different for sure. I see your point. Yeah. Better, yes. The important thing, and I find this with my team is that I'm playing as well, is you got to decide. It's not good enough to think, oh, we'll put it somewhere in front there. You've got to make a decision. Am I sweeping this to be fully buried top 4? Or am I sweeping this to be dead frozen on the back one? You don't want to get caught in between. So another wrong side of the inch miss there. It'd be definitely much better to keep your rock in front of the rings in the top 8, top 4 there with the team, but for Corryn Brown for sure.
Yeah, this is that was a tough couple of rocks for Samantha. Still lots of time.
Lots of times, Team Skrlik will get to look at the exact same path, exact same weight, exact same shot. So for the sweepers, a big comfort level advantage because you've just seen this one come down the ice. They're shaking their head. This one is dying on them. Team's just getting caught a little off guard with the change in weight here. I don't have a stopwatch on me, but it certainly appears like draw weight has become heavier as the game has went on. Angles are all yellow here, so Corryn Brown will look to change things fast.
Yeah. It's this is maybe not the easiest double peel to make, and you can even drive your opponent staying right back into the mix. And maybe she wouldn't mind that, mixing up that 4 foot anyway. But she's got to hit about a quarter of a rock to get the other one, so I don't think she's done that. She's got the one.
It's close.
Okay. Yeah.
So Keith, thinking out loud in the chat here, love the thought process, Keith. Yep, you're managing your points, whether you score or not in the 7th end. It's important, and I'm going to link everybody in the chat here a very interesting page on curlingzone.com. The analytics page, where the results from major tour events, or actually, I'll get Jerry's exact definition on this, but competitive, taken from a mass of competitive games over the last few years, the likelihood of winning the game based on how many points you're up or down and whether or not you have hammer and which end is all on a nice little table. I have just linked that in the chat on YouTube.
Very good. Advanced stats for curling.
So in the women's game, with one end left, if you are up 1 point without hammer, you will win the game 94.4% of the time. Whereas,
up one without is 94.
no, up 2 without.
Oh, up 2. Okay.
If Skrlik was to steal a point here, it would have a 94.4% chance of winning the game. If Corryn Brown was to get 1 point here in the 7th end, tying things up, I wonder if I'm supposed to read this as an extra end scenario. Through a very short season in 2022-23, 72% chance, which is shockingly low, to be tied with hammer, winning the game. Let's take a look at last year. Really surprised by this. The team with hammer in an extra end scenario or one end left scenario, 70% of the time, 70.4 in 2021-22. So you're only to be the team down in the 8th end, trying to steal their way to a win. You will do so 30% of the time in the women's game.
Better than I would have thought.
It's much better than I would have thought.
Corryn Brown working with hammer, trying to get a short roll behind 2 yellow opponent guards that turn out to be sort of corner guards, but they also block a draw path for Corryn Brown at the end. So she's going to try and roll under.
So knowing those stats, I know I was a little confusing as I said them. Everyone at home can click that link in the chat. But knowing those stats, that would make Skrlik's call for a center guard in the 7th end make a lot more sense.
Right.
A lot more sense. You may as well try to get that point up. Again, 2 points up without hammer, you will still win that game 94.4% of the time. Tie game with hammer, which is what would happen if she let Corryn Brown score here, only 70%. So the stolen point here in the 7th, a big difference in the likelihood of winning the game for Team Skrlik. And of course, I should do justice to the other likely scenario here, which is Corryn Brown scoring 2 points.
So up 1 without.
Up 1 without. Still gives you a 58.9% chance of winning the game.
Pincott looking for that roll and getting a pretty good job of it.
Yeah.
Nice shot. They're line 2. Bit of pressure on now. You can chase this one and get a pretty nice roll still.
Absolutely. Corryn Brown not feeling comfortable yet. Those 2 yellow guards are right in her draw path to the button to save the end. Team Skrlik just needs one good one in there to try and save it, but at the same time, with Corryn Brown lying 2 in the rings.
Yeah, it's an interesting end.
Yeah,
we got some guards, we got some rocks in the house. Jam is a slim possibility, not really much of a possibility, especially with some weight. It won't curl up. It's probably always going over the top of that yellow.
It would appear so, yes.
Kind of a normal
We'll get a
weight, it
good
looks like.
over-the-top view here. Really trying to coax some curl out of here.
Oh, yeah. Not getting much out of that. And they did. They got it out.
They were able to remove the stone. Electing to take the wide path here. I wonder if that's got anything to do with that center line stickiness that we've been seeing.
I think it does. She wants no part of the possibility of being light and sticking in yet another essentially center guard up in the middle there. She may just want to tuck a piece, or maybe all the way around. I guess that one yellow. I guess yes, ideally all the way around. There's not a lot of point just to burying half, I don't think.
Kayla Skrlik will be making some type of attempt on that outturn that through the hole, so you definitely don't want to give her anything to freeze onto. Definitely don't want to be heavy here.
This is maybe going to over curl and give just what you're talking about. It's going to over curl.
Certainly gliding much better along those outside paths. That the sweepers were the sweepers were on and off of that right up until the log line. So both teams dealing with some very different draw paths in terms of weight. Corryn Brown electing to take the quicker path, the less played path, the intern path around, and just getting burned on a little bit on a path that they haven't seen for quite a few ends here. Still very quick out there. This will leave a rock in the back of the forefoot. I don't think you can freeze on this one, though.
No, you can't get there. You cannot get there. But I might have thought they want to roll the other way. Looks like if they cross the face and roll the other way toward the red out, from here it looks like they had a little better piece of the forefoot.
It's going to be quite a challenge to leave this in a spot where Corryn Brown can't come tap it out for her too. Looking for perfection here on Kayla Skrlik's last stone. Trying to hold it on that side you had mentioned, Stephen, but this will be nose all day.
Nose for two and the 58% chance probability of victory, I think you had said.
Yes, 58.9. With a sample size of 367 games. Or that was only the games that outcome was achieved, so the sample size is actually much larger, thousands of games in fact. Strong positive release by Corryn Brown keeps that rope straight all the way down.
Very nice, and there's the deuce. First of the game. The first two of the game in the seventh end. 3-2, Corryn Brown over Kayla Skrlik. We'll be back shortly for the eighth end.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
What?
Oh, we're back and we got a good one.
Yes,
Brown,
indeed.
Corryn Brown's British Columbia rank just took the first two score of the game. Kayla Skrlik of Alberta has hammer at 8, down 1. First rock in, and heading right out to throw a corner guard is Kayla Skrlik. Lead stone being thrown by sister Ashton. They played together in the Canadian Juniors. Quebec, maybe? Trois Rivières, 2018? Not sure. Rory, my daughter's team lost the Canadian Juniors this past spring in Stratford on last rock.
Oh, well, my first reaction is congratulations for making it that far. Like that's an excellent
great
accomplishment.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Yeah, those, you know what? You just end up, as life matures, as life goes on. Sometimes when you're that age, you think, oh, I'll do it again next year. But sometimes the most time you have to commit to something like that is when you're a young adult like that. So I'm just happy to hear that they're able to feel successful and have that accomplishment under their belt before. Some of them might not competitively curl ever again. Some may.
Yeah, they're fortunate. I mean, the team is largely intact for this year again. One player graduated, Grace Lloyd, and the 5th player on the team has stepped in very nicely.
Who's that game against in the final there?
That was Emily Duchesne was our team against Taylor Stevens of Nova Scotia. So because of the complications and the way the age groups have changed and so on, after winning Canadian Juniors, Taylor aged out of the Worlds. So Curling Canada asked Emily to skip them at the World Juniors, which involves some other events too. So Emily Duchesne has kind of got double duty with two very good teams.
Wow.
With hammer, Skrlik is heavy. Pardon me?
Another honor for her.
Yeah.
Also quite illustrative of the troubles that come with those divisional changes and all that.
Yeah, it's been funny. And they've got to go to the World Junior Bs to qualify for the World Juniors.
I know it's an entire other apparatus to set up, but I feel like with that steep gap between men's and women's curling and junior curling, I'd love to see some type of maybe 25 and under or college age.
Yeah, they've had some 25 and under events this year.
Mm-hmm. The best of the West I can think of.
Yeah.
Kind of starting that, but yeah, there is no free agent frenzy in curling. There's no trade deadline or anything like that. The teams that are trying to pick up young players have to scout themselves. You need your own scouting department and all that stuff. So any more of these events where, you know, the top teams, the competing teams can see who's out there with their own eyes. Use the eyeball test, kind of scout these younger players, because junior is just, it is definitely its own beast a little bit, and it's tough, really tough it seems for some players to translate that skill. Looks like we got a bit of a either pick or curly spot. That
I
draw.
agree. That was looking nice for a tap, and
Yeah.
over curled, and still not bad steel setup for actually quite a good steel setup for Corryn Brown, I think.
Yep. I would agree. It's unfortunate that was looking perfect. Just left a bit of that face open for an inside flop, but like you said, the center line dance that Team Corryn Brown has going, it'll take more than one shot.
It's early in the end,
Juice.
but it's looking a little messy for the team with hammer right now.
Getting some good curl out of that stone.
Yep. Nice job by
They
the
will
outside
occupy.
sweeper.
And trying to figure out a way to get one in there without screwing up this overlap she has going here. She'd love to leave it if she could.
Yeah. That
But with
outturn draw is interesting, right?
Exactly. Without a clear outturn draw, I think you have to. You have to change this up a bit, even though this angle is really working well for you. I wonder what the desired outcome is here. This looks like a broom for weight. It is.
Desiree Haas, second shot. As we go deeper into this eighth end at Curling Stadium, Leduc.
I suppose that's mission accomplished there. But, you know, you've lost some real estate down the middle.
Yep. Yeah, anything's in play now.
Kayla not even looking at the center guard, knowing if she peels that, they'll just make another one. Probably more optimal positioning.
But I'm not sure how hitting this rock is really going hard for the two. I think you got to go really hard for the two. If you get forced here, like you just went over before, you only got a 30%. I think it's a 30% chance of winning.
Now, while I agree with you, if you're going to address this stone, it needs to be right now. The clock will definitely run out on this type of clearing shot. Okay. May have got caught trying to do a little too much there. It looks like they were going for the over the top double, which is a little more challenging, and you know they're quite close to making the shot, but unless it's executed perfectly, it's just not very effective.
Corryn likes the setup, and she's going around the guarded business.
Yeah, that's the great thing with ice that swings like this. You know, it just leaves an opportunity to save yourself. Just always seems possible with this much finish.
Might be a little nicer out here than some of that Lost Pebble we've seen. A little closer to the 4-foot line, but they're approaching that now. So
yeah, it's all about managing that stone. How long can you keep it in the quick path? And like you said, Stephen, that just slammed on the glass.
Yeah.
The sweepers were not concerned about that stone at all until about 6 to 10 feet in front of the hog line.
Right at the 4-foot line, when it got to the 4-foot line, man, that's where it seems to go.
That's what it seems like. Yeah. Now this center guard becomes the priority for Team Skrlik. That seems like run back ice, though. They may be trying to make a few rocks move here.
That could be perilous.
And they will get that
Good
second
shot.
rock that they had their eye on. Decision time for Corryn. To keep going for the steal, or if you think you have a force on the sheet.
Yep, a force is really valuable. Chasing the steal introduces a lot of risk of a multiple score for the win by Skrlik.
I think the signal was to draw forfeit here.
Yep, foot on the gas.
She was even, I saw her broom tap the back of the house, indicating they might be satisfied freezing on that back yellow. And this is in that quick stuff with a lot of rotation, has not broken yet on its curl. Just grabbing now at that forfeit line like you pointed out, Stephen. And with a good sweep.
Tricky spot.
Acceptable position.
Somebody's going to
Kayla
qualify.
That's for sure. I'm going to be pretty satisfied if I was Team Skrlik now, looking at an opportunity to clear the center line after all that trouble earlier they were looking at. Now a shot comes down the ice that can remove all stones from the center line and leave quite a few orbiting Skrlik rocks. This is curling hard, though. And she will leave her shooter on the center line, failing to remove both Corryn and Brown stones. Got to look at the house here. Not quite the entire house. Wondering if that top rock is nibbling the rings.
I'm thinking it is. Could be relevant.
Corryn Brown hoping to make it less relevant by lying 3 with no clear triple. Corryn Brown seemingly thinking to herself, hey, if you're able to make all of my rocks go away and count those orbiters, good on you. But till then, we're going to occupy the forefoot, occupy the rings, and make you, Kayla Skrlik, make the very difficult shots. Now, the only real miss here would be heavy. Really getting that finish going now. That will do just fine.
Yep.
Well, Team Skrlik, 2 shots left. How do we make our 2? You would think it would involve getting that red stone that Corryn Brown just threw out of the way. Is no in-turn draw path to the forefoot.
So if she makes this roll really good, is Corryn coming around the center again?
Yeah, you gotta think they'd be satisfied going to an extra end. So as long as they thought they could remove the stone without leaving a double or triple,
Yeah, you're right.
they could be satisfied with that. But like you said, now is this ice for the double? This could be a hack waiter that they're just holding the broom out to get a better look at it, but this could be ice for some type of double takeout, keeping the dream alive of counting those outside yellow stones. With an intern, this will be a double takeout attempt.
Very thin.
Trying to manage the curl. Got one, got two,
Good shot.
and we'll stick around.
That was a thin double, so
Perhaps not the exact lie they were looking for, but that is definitely main goals have been achieved there. Corryn Brown will try to avoid a jam and avoid leaving a double right back. Set for a
so where
throw
do you think
again
she
to this
wants
game.
to roll to, Rory? Way sort of back 8 on the other side, almost even with that one.
I would say, yep, on the
It's a long, tough
left
roll.
side, she would want to cross center line, you would think.
Yeah. Yeah, if you get most of it behind the center, you stay out of the double.
Make Kayla play a raise double, add one more shot to oh, this is floating pretty bad. Let's see if they can avoid a jam here. And they just barely do. Now that's the good news. The bad news is they've left a nearly nose double for the win.
Just a hair high of nose. Probably kind of normal. Pretty tight ice. Well, maybe that does hang out there, though, doesn't it? So it might be kind of a normal weight double for what we believe is the win. I think at least one of those rocks is one of those yellow rocks is on the rings, right? We're pretty
Yeah,
sure.
this is one of those ones where you just, as a sweeper, assure your skipper, remind her that she's made a million of these in practice. She knows how to make it. She's just got to trust herself and chuck it right down the stick.
For the win, Kayla Skrlik with a double attempt. And it's very, very close. And they've got it.
Beautifully
2
called,
points for
beautifully
Kayla
made.
Skrlik. And a great win. They survive the C bracket and qualify to the final 8. They'll be in the quarterfinals tomorrow. And for Corryn Brown, she'll be a little disappointed losing the B final and the C final. I'm not sure what her status was. I didn't take a look at whether she came down from the A late in the A final as well, but I don't think so. So thank you, everyone, for watching our great game, as it turned out a very close game. And for Rory McCusker, this is Steve Robert. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again from Curling Stadium.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.